Oh, I am Mani Malarvanan. In this video, we will look into two major upgrades that happened last year, 2025 in Ethereum, how it is helping the regular customers to start using Ethereum blockchain much more easily. We will talk about the transaction fee, layer 1 and layer 2 layers, and how exactly those two upgrades are going to help, or it's already started helping the customers in using various Ethereum based applications. So Ethereum is no longer the place where you do everyday transaction. See, we talked about layer 1 and layer 2, and also there are other videos. If you want to know more about Ethereum, I can please go and watch in this channel, and also I will provide the links at the end of this video so that you can understand basically the Ethereum blockchain or any type of blockchain where you use Solana or any other type. There are two types of layers. The layer 1, that is the main net they call. Basically, that layer has all the transaction informations that happened in the entire history of Ethereum. Consider it's an open ledger, and you need to pay a lot more transaction fee to register to store any informations in that ledger, because the ledger is managed by multiple different nodes, multiple different people are managing it, and they need to pay for their cost, storage, and everything. So to register your transaction, you need to pay. So that is the higher tax fee. To avoid the higher tax fee, Ethereum and other blockchains created the layer 2. In the layer 2, you don't have to pay a lot of transaction fee, but still you have to pay the transaction fee. In the layer 2, instead of sending each and every transaction to the layer 1, in the secondary layer, the layer 2, they batch all the transactions and then they will send it to one final transaction to the layer 1. By providing it, you can able to reduce the transaction fee drastically. For example, when Ethereum created, the transaction fee was $100 for one transaction, and then after the layer 2 came, the transaction fee drastically came down, but still it is $10, $5 you have to pay. It is not going to be free. So imagine you are using your Visa card or a MasterCard or any other credit card. You are not paying the fee. Only some type of transaction they charge a fee, but that's not like a 10% of the transaction or 20% of the transaction amount that you are going to pay for your transaction fee. It is very negligible, like a 1% or 0.5%. So these two major upgrades that we are going to discuss in this presentation are slowly helping Ethereum to catch up to their other traditional networks. We will see how those two upgrades are helping. The first upgrade is the Pectra made wallet smart enough to hide transaction fee. See, in the Pectra upgrade, what they made is a very simple upgrade. Anytime you download a MetaMask or any other wallet, then you can your wallet can act as the smart contract, and it can start sending money to whatever net you want to use. Before that, whenever you download the wallet, you need to create a password, you need to create a user ID, and you need to create a passphrase. All those challenges you need to go through. It is not easy for non-technical customers to use the wallets. But with this Pectra upgrade, your wallet can act as a smart contract for the duration of the time. Say, for example, if you have 50 USD dollars and you want to send it to your friends and family, you can straight away use the Ethereum network to send it, and then your friends and family, whomever you are going to send it, they will receive the $50 USD that you have in your wallet. Before that, you cannot even use the Ethereum network to send the money, because you need to have Ethereum. Even though you have a USD, first you need to go buy Ethereum and then store it in your wallet and then use the wallet to pay the transaction fee. But now with this Pectra upgrade, you can able to use your wallet to send money without paying. without having the Ethereum on your wallet. Okay, now you can ask the question, how the network is going to charge, who is going to pay? Since you send the $50, they will take 10 cents or 50 cents out of your $50, and then they will use it to pay the transaction fee. So from your point, you are not having to pay Ethereum on your wallet to pay the transaction fee. See, that is the main upgrade that happened last year. That is going to make all the regular user to start using Ethereum wallets, and they can able to do regular transactions. And also there are many companies started working on using this upgrade. They can able to pay you a transaction fee. For example, if you have thousands of users using one particular app, rather than you paying 50 cents or point 0.1 cents a transaction fee, they can completely waive all the transaction fee. All they want you to use their application, use their app, so that they will get more customers and they can able to pay you a transaction fee for that. So all those different models of economy is going to come into play in 2026 and beyond. In the upgrade 2, they call it as a Fusaka upgrade. What they did was, before this upgrade, if anybody wants to run a node, Ethereum node, then they need to download all the data from the mainnet and they have to start using it. Instead of doing that, now with this upgrade, you can have a group of nodes and upload, instead of downloading all the data from the mainnet, you can just upload a portion of your portion of the data and you can start using it. So how it's going to work? See, if you have 100 gigabytes of data that you need to download, and if you form a group of 10 people, instead of downloading all the 100 gig of data to your local node, you can just download only 10% of it, 10 gigabytes of data. And then what you have to do is, since you are forming a group, anytime any transactions happen, your node will going to talk to multiple other nodes to make sure that the data is in sync. And as a group, within 10 nodes are there in your group. As a node, you can able to use only the 10% of the 100 gigabytes and start transacting it. So this specifically the EIP 7594 upgrade, that is helping for smaller developers or smaller companies to start using Ethereum and creating their own applications to do that. This is the technology side of it. From the user's point of view, it's not helping much, but for the transaction fee point of view, this upgrade is helping individuals to start using the Ethereum with less price, and they can able to use the transactions. The bottom line is all the transaction cost is low since you are managing your network with the less data, so that more and more people can start creating the Ethereum nodes and start creating applications using their technologies. So the question is, are Ethereum transactions actually free now? Let's go through and answer that question. The layer one still has fees, because ultimately, whenever you are storing all the informations in the layer one, so you have to pay the fee. Somebody has to pay the fee. There is no free lunch, as you all know. So whether who is going to pay, that the companies are going to pay or the consumers, you are going to pay, and that's where the difference comes into play. In the layer two, many companies are working on, if you use their decentralized application, then it is free for you. How they make money? They get since they have more and more customers are using their decentralized application, they can get money from advertisements or through some other mechanisms. So they can make your transaction as low as possible or as free as possible. Say instead of paying 10%, you just pay 0.1% for your transaction, whatever transactions you want to use Ethereum using their own app. So the gas fee is drastically reduced with these two upgrades, and that is the new way of thinking how to use Ethereum. So there are applications that are being created where the transaction fee is completely eliminated for you. So to answer the question whether it is completely free for consumers for certain types of transactions, yes, it is free, but for developers or decentralized application owners, those who are developing it, they still have to pay the transaction fee because they have to collect all the transactions on their layer 2 network, and then ultimately they have to commit to the main layer 1 network so that all the transactions will be available in the main net. So what you will notice in the practice, so there is no more Ethereum you need to have to start using Ethereum network. Anytime anybody can download a MetaMask or Coinbase or any other wallet and they can start using Ethereum network. It's like simple as downloading a Google Pay into your phone and start using Google Pay for your day-to-day transactions. You should be able to do it. And that's the main change that happened in 2025 because of these two upgrades. Because previously, if you have to use any type of crypto network, you have to download the app, you have to set it up, you have to create the user ID password. There's a lot of technical details you as a consumer need to do. But because of these two upgrades, you don't have to go through any of those process. And also, there are a lot of changes that happened. Instead of multiple clicks, whether to approve, to enter the amount, how much you want to send, and then approve all those things, that's all been eliminated with a simple interface for any regular user to start using Ethereum blockchain application. So, and another thing is the transaction fee. In my previous videos, I mentioned that the transaction fee changes based on the network traffic. If the network is a lot of people are using it, then you have to pay a toll. It just like a paying toll or just like paying more expressway in if you are traveling to bigger cities in bigger cities. But going forward, that transaction fee is going to be drastically reduced or it's completely eliminated for users. And since all the transactions are happening in the L2, and that is going to be the critical change for many users to start using Ethereum based applications. And also Web2 like user interface, because we talked about how difficult it is to set up a wallet and start using any of the blockchains. In the future, it's going to be completely seamless for any user, any consumer to start using any type of Ethereum based applications because of the upgrades we discussed. So, what should the builders do? If you are working on building Ethereum based applications, you need to make sure that you create a proper interface using this latest technology so that any consumer can able to use your application without any major issues. They should be able to download the wallet and start using your application, connecting with your application, and they should be send whatever tokens, whatever money they have without even having Ethereum on that wallet. You should be able to provide that. And also, you should always work with the layer 2 because as we discussed earlier, layer 1 is going to be more expensive. So you build the application on layer 2 so that you can able to batch all the transactions and then send one single transaction to the main net so that your transaction fee is going to be drastically reduced as an app developer, and then you can pass on the savings to your consumers, thereby attracting more and more consumers coming into your application and start using it. So that's a layer 2 technology is going to be the de facto standard for app developers going forward because the main L1 layer, that's going to be the proof of concept where you commit the transaction once in a while, probably every day night or every 10 hours once, whatever may be the mechanism you want to create. So where this goes next, the main issue that faced Ethereum blockchain in 2025 and before is the transaction fee. See, imagine if anybody wants to start use the internet, they don't have to go through a lot of layers to install. They don't have to pay a lot of transaction fee for that. Anybody who has a app or a computer, they can able to connect to the internet. Of course, for Wi-Fi you have to pay, or if you have a free Wi-Fi, then you can start using your whatever applications you want to use through the internet. So the TCP/IP protocol and all those are all helping. The standards are all helping, and it is an open standard. Nobody is charging for that. Nobody is. You don't have to pay to send an email to your friends and family. The same way you don't have to pay to receive an email or browsing any application or anything. So that is the internet. That is the main success of the internet. So like that, in the Ethereum blockchain, they are trying to create to make it as open as possible so that your transaction fee is going to be eliminated. If not completely eliminated, it's going to be 0.0001 percentage of transaction amount that you are going to pay for the transaction you are sending. So these two major upgrades we discussed, that is going to be the starting point for 2026 and beyond for app developers, for consumers, start using Ethereum in much more simplistic way. So that's all I want to discuss in this video. And if you need more information about these two particular upgrades, if you want more technical details, let me know. I can provide more videos to help you understand. And also, please post comment in this video if you have any questions. We will be happy to help you to clarify the questions. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and like this video, and also forward this video to your friends and family so that we can grow this channel and create more and more videos. Thank you. Bye.